We're still at SITS. I'm with Richard Friedl. How are you?
Fine, thanks. How are you?
Good, yeah, good to see you here. You're from ITSM Partners, Austria.
Yes, Vienna, Austria.
Very busy with lots of projects and stuff. What's new? I mean, are you still doing the same stuff you've been doing the last few years? Have you got some new things that are happening?
Basically, I guess 80% is the same stuff like every day, but different because of the pandemic. So we do a lot of remote work nowadays.
What are people looking for? I mean, what's the demand at the moment? What do they need help with? Frameworks? Do they need help with tools? Do they need help with culture? What's the main thing that you're dealing with?
Basically, I tend to say that the clients who ask for our help need our help. So we never see the companies where service management works. So it's like a doctor. He sees
only sees ill people.
Yeah, and basically it's most of the time it starts with we have to implement ITIL or things like that. So getting things wrong from the beginning, and we usually do the same. We start with a workshop with top management, making clear to them that service management is mostly about people and about expectations, about experience, customer experience, employee experience, and that ITIL is just a framework like other frameworks are, and very funny things nowadays. Like last time we visited the customer, said we have implemented DevOps. And I said, what? They said, we've installed DevOps. I said, how can you install a framework? And they said, no, we have installed Azure DevOps. And when they came up talking about tools, and we, tried to get them back to the basics, to what is value to your customers, and so on. So
they're IT people. They need to think in terms of systems.
Yes,
and I know the story. But yeah, it's always about implementing something as opposed to doing it or changing. And what are you finding that works in terms of changing, dealing with those culture issues, those people issues? Because there's more stuff around about experience and how we capture that these days.
I'm in the industry now for over 30 years, and maybe it's because I'm that old that I think that the big questions are still the same, like people don't want to change. We want to change, but we don't want to change themselves. So this is not any different from 30 years ago. And what is new, I guess, during the last years is that change happens faster and faster, and people have to adopt faster and faster, and the elder people don't get it, so we cannot do that in that speed. A lot of people lose their jobs when we get 50. They simply get fired, but we don't have enough young people to get into the IT industry, and we have a lack of personnel in Austria, and I guess it's Europe or worldwide topic now. And this leads to a situation that our customers, as well as we as independent consultants, see a lot of opportunities for improvement, for service management, for value out of service management, but we don't have resources, and we don't have the resources. So basically we could do, I guess, twice as much projects as we do now because of the demand, but we cannot cover it. So
what do you think would make a difference to that? Because I mean, back to the point about, and I have the same problem, I know others do, we're still telling people basic things that we were telling them 30 years ago. And you kind of have this sense of like, do they not learn, or how can we embed those ideas better? When we're dealing with an organization, you might do a great project and then you go back there 5 years later and it's all changed. It's like, is there anything we can do as an industry to stop that or to reduce it, perhaps?
Well, I guess everybody should hear what Paul Wilkinson tells us all the time, that we should not enforce the certification industry and get people certified, and for example, ITIL certified or Prince2 certified or whatever certified, and think that has solved any problem. So we should come up with some models of ongoing education, lifetime education, and this is something that we as consultants and external trainers could do and could offer. This is something we do with some customers that are interested in it, so we set up an education program that is kind of a career program for people in the company that helps them getting into a service management career within the company with certain modules mixed with e-learning and other stuff. So I guess that could be a good way, and that could be a good way to use our knowledge and our experience for the better.
We do, in the UK, we do have more apprenticeships for service management. Not a huge amount, it's happened.
That would be a good idea, but we don't have that in Austria.
And there's also, we had Sandra Whittleston on here. Do you know Sandra Whittleston? She works in the education sector and she trains degree courses at universities. But she and I have always been talking about, getting service management into school level, or, so that people, or certainly degree level courses where people are doing technology, but they need to understand about service management as well.
Yeah, what we do in Austria is that we as a company, because we're market leading for service management consultants in training, and some others try to bring that to universities and teach service management at universities and enforce them to teach it. But we should do it also in schools, but we don't have access to there. So basically, if people visit a school with between 15 and 18, we don't hear anything about service management. If we hear IT, we just hear about technology.
Yeah.
And only technology.
Yeah.
Maybe when it's too late. So I don't know.
I know, there were some initiatives a couple of years ago with some of the publishers here producing some content that was kind of simple service management that was going into school curricula. But again, it's a bit dry as well, when it's just on paper.
Yes. They
need to live it. It's like what we're saying about meeting in person.
Yes.
You want to actually have that experience with. So I think that's. Anything that we can do on the education, I think it's a good idea that we should do more as an industry.
Yes. Well, my idea is, if you ask children what they want to get as a professionist when we are adults, they say things like teacher, policeman, but the common thing is that they want to interact with people when we are kids. We say, if I have a profession, I want to work with people. So I guess we have to teach them that service management is about people. It's about experience of employees, of customers, customer journeys, and so on and so on. So we have all that stuff in service management. And if I look at your science and what you're doing, it's all about people. And I guess if young people would know that, they would be more interested, and we don't want to get, programmers or AI specialists or something like that. So,
well, it's something to think about. It's a really good idea. Just finally, if we have this conversation next year, what would you like to see that's changed or happened that would help us as an industry? It could be something really small, or it could be...
I don't believe in it, but I would wish that more young people would join our industry. So that service management would be cool stuff that everybody wants to be part of and wants to learn. And
it's a really good point, actually. And actually, just seeing it and hearing it just makes me want to do something about it. So let's keep talking about that.
Yeah.
Richard, thanks very much.
Thank you, Barclay, for inviting me.
You're welcome, and maybe see you next year.
Thanks a lot, Barclay.